Mr. Speaker, we live in the richest country in the history of the world, and yet hunger is a problem in the United States of America, a very costly problem. A recent report published in the journal Health Affairs shows that poor people are getting sick because they are running out of food at the end of the month. Hunger increases the likelihood that people will get other ailments. Specifically, this analysis shows that poverty and exhausted food budgets may be a reason for increased health risk due to dangerously low blood sugar. We know that poor families prioritize which bills they pay and that food, grocery bills, often fall behind other responsibilities like rent and utilities. And I ask unanimous consent to insert an article from the New York Times titled "Study Ties Diabetic Crisis to Dip in Food Budgets" into the record at the end of my statement.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, this year marks the 50th anniversary of the War on Poverty. One of the programs that is key in this war on poverty in our attempt to reduce and eliminate income inequality is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Act, or SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. SNAP is a lifeline for 47 million Americans. 47 million of our fellow citizens rely on this program to help put food on the table for their families. But SNAP has become a major target in this Congress by those who believe it is simply a government handout. SNAP is many things, but it is not a poorly run government handout. To the contrary, it is a program that is among the most efficient and effective, if not the most efficient and effective, of federal programs. Despite this fact, and despite the fact that millions of Americans turned to SNAP precisely because they saw their incomes drop or disappear because of the recession, SNAP was cut by $11 billion on November 1st, 2013. And on top of that, we are told that the Farm Bill that is still in negotiation would cut another $8.5 to $9 billion above that November 1st cut. These cuts have real impacts. Some families who already saw a cut of $30 a month on November 1st will see their SNAP benefit cut by another $90 a month if the Farm Bill passes with these cuts. That's a cut of $120 a month for a family of three in a state like California or Massachusetts or New York, for example. According to a study conducted by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the Pew Charitable Trust, a cut of $2 billion a year in food stamps could trigger an increase in $15 billion in medical costs for diabetes over the next decade. The insistence of many in this Congress, Republicans and, I'm sad to say, some Democrats, that SNAP be cut will have serious long-term impacts on the health of poor people who are just trying to get by. And any cuts will cost us more. They will save us nothing. Being poor is hard. It is expensive. We shouldn't be making the lives of those who struggle with poverty even harder by cutting safety net programs like SNAP. We should not be making poor people sicker because we want to cut federal spending on SNAP while increasing spending for the Defense Department or giving corporate welfare in the form of crop insurance or other farm subsidies. Many of these these excesses are contained in the Farm Bill that we may see in the next couple of weeks. I oppose the SNAP cuts included in the Farm Bill. They are misguided, they are hurtful, and they are wrong. They will do real damage to real people who just want to earn a paycheck and provide for their families. I urge my colleagues to stand with me and oppose this Farm Bill if, in fact, it contains these $8 to $9 billion in cuts in SNAP. I would remind my colleagues that behind all these numbers and behind all the statistics and behind all the rhetoric, there are real people. These cuts have already been made actually hurt people. Let's not pile on. Anti-hunger advocates have warned that further cuts to SNAP will increase hunger in America. Go to any food bank in America. They are at capacity right now. Leading economists have told us that further cuts to SNAP will undermine our economy. SNAP is actually a stimulus. People who get SNAP actually have to spend it on food. It helps our economy grow. And doctors and medical researchers have documented time and time again with a gazillion studies that further cuts to SNAP will cause avoidable health care costs to millions of our fellow citizens. Sometimes I wonder when we have these debates whether anybody's paying attention. My question to this Congress is anybody listening? Why would anybody cut this program more and more and more and more. Why are so many in this chamber so indifferent to this problem that affects close to 50 million of our fellow citizens? I plead with my colleagues to say no to any further SNAP cuts. And I appeal to this administration to work with Congress to develop a plan so that nobody in this country goes hungry. The silence on this issue in this Congress and in this administration is sad, and it is a missed opportunity to do something meaningful and positive for millions of our fellow citizens. We can do more, we can do better, we can end hunger now, but not by coldly, callously, and arbitrarily cutting SNAP. I yield back the balance of my time.